The number one mistake that I see coaches allow their athletes to make that sabotages their performance. Hi, I'm Brian Cain. Here's a simple equation that you can use with your clients and athletes to help them move on from adversity, move on from success, and get back to where the magic happens, which is in the present moment. Look, yesterday's history. Tomorrow, that's a mystery. Today's a gift. That's why we call it the present. The biggest mistake that I see athletes make is they get stuck on events. Look, win a game, that's an event. Lose a game, that's an event. Break up with your significant other, that's an event. Get injured, that's an event. How are you going to respond to that adversity? That's where we have to get. We have to move past the events that have happened into what our response is, because it's that response that we intentionally choose, that we coach our clients through, that's going to impact the outcome. E plus R equals O. Event plus response equals outcome. So look at the events that are happening to your clients. How much time do you hear them complain? They're complaining or getting defensive or getting stuck on things that have happened in the past instead of looking at what's my next best decision. The great Harvey Dorfman, a mental performance coach, a mentor of mine, said, Cainer, there's only 3 steps that clients should be using to reflect. What was I trying to do? What happened? What's my next best decision? So ask yourself, what was I trying to do? What happened? What's my next best decision? That's going to allow you to move from the event that's happened that's already over. Whether it's a minute ago or a month ago, it's over. Get on to the next play, get on to the next task. What's your response going to be? Is your response going to be, woe was me, get bitter? Or is it going to be, now we go, get better? Is it, here we go again, now we go? Get frustrated, get fascinated. Get bitter, get better. That response is within your control. Once the event happens and it's done, it's out of your control. And here's the thing, every event that happens is truly neutral until you label it otherwise. So you have to stay in control of yourself so you can control your performance. And you've got to realize every event is neutral until you give it a label. Every event is neutral until you determine otherwise. And as soon as that event happens, success, adversity, anything along that spectrum, get onto the response. And there's only 2 types of responses. There's responses that we would call above the line responses. They're intentional, they're disciplined, they're winning responses. And then there's below the line responses. They're unintentional, they're undisciplined, and they're losing responses. So for example, in the moment, you take a pitch, you think it's a ball, umpire calls it a strike. Above the line response, you step out and release. You remind yourself you're not that bad that you need every pitch to win. You get back in the box, fully present, locked in on winning the next pitch. Below the line response, you take the pitch, don't like the umpire's call, you look back, you go palms up, you tell the world, woe was me, feel sorry for myself, and I'm that bad that I need every call to go my way in order for me to have a chance to win. You're not that bad. So your response has to be intentional. Now, as we choose that above the line response, we also have to practice it. I remember working with the TCU baseball program, and at the time, their great coach, Jim Schlossnagle, we were down in San Diego getting ready to play San Diego State, and they had a pitcher named Steven Strasburg, maybe the greatest college pitcher ever. We knew he was going to average about 15 strikeouts plus. So the day before we played, what did we do? We actually practiced striking out and walking back to the dugout with our hand on the barrel, big body language, and our head up, sending a positive message about competitiveness to the guy who was walking to home plate after us. We might even have made eye contact looking out at the mound at that pitcher to remind him, hey, you might have got me this time, but I'm going to be back. Because what happens otherwise? If you don't practice adversity and you don't know how to handle it, you're going to handle it based off of emotion. And emotion is typically a below the line response. So we have to practice adversity. Like with football players, we practice when I miss a tackle. What do I do to get to the next play? If I drop a pass, what do I do to get to the next play? So you could call that practicing your adversity response or your release routine to allow you to get onto the next event. You see, every response that you take though, that's also an event for everybody else. So if I'm a coach and there's adversity, an event, and my response is to throw my hands, to get pissed, to get frustrated, to go below the line and cause a distraction, my response is an event for everybody else. Now, when the event happens, my response as a leader, my response as a coach becomes that event for everybody else. So can I make it better? Classic example, Braden Montgomery, Texas A&M baseball this year, one of the best players in college baseball, gets injured and he's out for the rest of the postseason. What's he do? The next day he shows up, he's in a cast with his ankle, he's got a hat that says good. and he helps lead his team from that moment forward, knowing that if he's in the dugout as one of the top pro prospects in the country, one of the top college baseball players in the country, and he's wearing a good hat, that sends a loud message to his team. So it's all at that moment about what's the response going to be. That event is over. A minute ago, a month ago, it's done. What's my response going to be? So event plus response equals outcome. Focus more time on the response, less time on the event that's already over, and you give yourself a better chance to get the outcome that you're looking for.